So you expect me to sit here for 2 hours and watch these four men just talk in a hotel room? Sign me up. Welcome back to my channel. It's Tyra here with another struggle review, here to discuss the Amazon Prime film One Night in Miami. Now, why do I think you need to see this film, and why do I think this film is very important outside of all the other films and documentaries that we've seen of these men? Before we get into that, I need you guys to drop down and subscribe to my channel and like this video. I'm going to give you guys a second to do that, and then we're going to come back and discuss all things legendary. You guys have hopefully subscribed to see more of me. Let's get into this review. Now, to start, this is a fictional, because I thought it was real before, a fictional meeting between Jim Brown, a not yet Muhammad Ali, Cassius Clay, Sam Cooke, and Malcolm X. Now, this is a directorial debut from Miss Regina King, and I think she did an awesome job. We jumped right into this film, following each man and seeing where they are at that moment in their life. And we realized that they're just on the brink of all the great things that they were about to become, and others who were on their way to achieve even greater things but were taken away much too soon. But as we start off, we get to see Cassius Clay prepare for his up-and-coming fight. We get to see Sam Cooke bomb and perform at the Copa. We get to see Jim Brown, who is at the time one of the best football players in the world, be cut down and considered an N-word, and he can't even be let into a house. And we also see Malcolm X interact with his wife, amongst other things. Most importantly, instantly, we see these men humanize and just be men. Now, as someone who has watched endless movies about these men, documentaries, movies with these men in it, like a Jim Brown and, the blaxploitation era, and listen to Sam Cooke's songs and sing, multiple documentaries on, what happened to Sam Cooke, Ali, Malcolm X, documentaries, Spike Lee presents Malcolm X. This was the one time where I feel like they just got to be men. Now, as of right now, in today, it's very easy to see these men and only think about the great things, especially like a Malcolm X and how legendary he's become, Muhammad Ali, how iconic some of Sam Cooke's songs have become, Jim Brown and who he became. Here, we weren't even concerned about that. We were just happy to see these four men having conversations as Black men. This is the first movie I've seen where I just looked at Malcolm X as a man and not the Nation of Islam, even though there is much talk of that, and we're going to get into that. But he was just a man. And I think we just take a little too lightly at how much power can be placed on someone that we kind of dehumanize them and they become something totally different. But here we kind of got some of that back, and that was amazing to see. Now, after we see Muhammad Ali win this fight, and, there isn't some grand ballroom gesture, some party, they just go back to this Hamilton hotel at the request of Malcolm, and they all meet up there. And we are taken through so many emotions in this one setting, in this one room, and we start to identify and get to know these men so personally and see that they are all completely different, but still manage to be just men, still manage to be friends. Like we don't always have to agree to be friends. Getting into that, there are so many disagreements and back and forth between what's righteous and what's not, and what we should be doing as Black men and what you aren't doing. And with all of this bickering back and forth, especially between Sam Cooke and Malcolm X, they still managed to respect each other and just be black men. Like, when we seen that? When have we seen that? I didn't see it. It was so good to see here. You were so engrossed in them and the bickering and the going back and forth, and with how the world is today, you're just waiting like, what's about to pop up? Are they about to fight? Is someone going to hit somebody? Is somebody just going to, forget it. We're not friends anymore because bonds are so easily broken by arguments today. Like, oh, those fighting words, it's over. What you say about my career? What you say about my Nation of Islam? What you say about my beliefs? Oh, that's it. This is done. None of that. We argued. We had our, about to, and that was it. We still ended on respect. Yes, I feel this way, but I feel this way because of this. Because I love you so much. Because I'm so passionate for you as a black man and as my brother and as my friend. Run it back. Now, another thing that was really surprising to me was how funny this movie was and how lighthearted at times this movie was. Like them playing keep away with Malcolm's camera. Like, it's so easy to harbor on the tragedies that we know are present here and, happen later on. We forget about, them just being able to just be funny and just be men and just laugh and enjoy being together. Like, there were some really funny moments here, even with them questioning, why Muhammad Ali was a little resistant to join the Nation of Islam, and them going, I'm gonna miss my grandma's pork chops. Like, everything was so funny. Like, we know that he's assassinated. We know that Sam Cooke is murdered, and we don't always have to have those things depicted each and every time we decide to talk about these men. We don't always have to have, the not so tasteful things depicted on screen about Muhammad Ali when we talk about him. And neither is Jim Brown. There are ways to portray these men outside of those things and still have a productive movie. We saw that here. Do it again. Now, there were really, really important conversations made to be had here, but I just want to kind of get into Sam Cooke and Malcolm X, and then later Malcolm X and Muhammad Ali. Now, the back and forth between the both of them is wonderful. We get into so much about motives and different perspectives for what the black man should be, all while both of them being blinded by their own personal agendas, especially Malcolm X. And, we get those little shots of, Jim Brown kind of hovering over, like, both of them are right. I stand with not only Sam Cooke, but I know deep down I can get with Malcolm X too. I understand what he's saying, even though I might not always agree with his principles. Like, we need more of this. Like, it's always about seeing the bigger picture, not judging someone without knowing their journey and what they're trying to do. It's so easy to place judgment on someone from the outside looking in, but you don't know we're both running the same race. Good stuff. And then we get more into Malcolm X and Muhammad Ali. Now, throughout the film, immediately when we're introduced to Malcolm X, there's a eerie feeling around him and around him being followed. And, he's searching for wiretaps and checking out windows, things that we know because we know, what happened in his life. But it's just so evident him, and he's so humanized here, unlike some of his other superhuman depictions. You just feel for him so bad because you know what's coming and you know what's about to happen. And it's just like, man. But you get hints of, early on that he's about to leave the Nation of Islam because, as we know, all those, tragic things happen when he realized that, this isn't quite what I thought it was. We're sharing the same beliefs, but not going about it the same way. I want to go about it. I want my actions to be different. I want my own organization. And we learn that he's looking to Muhammad Ali to join to bring more people in because they see his presence. Now, in this whole argument, I could get, with Muhammad Ali and feeling like, this was your agenda the whole time. This was, a motive. this is what you were using me for, and just kind of second guessing it. But you also see that he sticks up for Malcolm a lot. He harbors on him a lot, especially in the beginning when he goes to him and, stands up, about his beliefs to his trainers, and goes to him to pray to Allah, and says he needs that before the fight. And it looks to be something that he does before every fight, for all we know. And, him going, I need him. I want him by my side. I need this blessing on me. So if I can be that for you, then maybe it wouldn't be so bad for you to be this for me, It was so deep. Like, once we got to the ending and we saw, him and Malcolm just bicker, and him feel used and feel like maybe this friendship isn't what I thought it was, and for them to cease that when the press comes out, and for him to say, are you coming? I want you by my side. I want you with me. You never know how badly you needed to see Brotherhood on screen until you see it. Or even us seeing Malcolm harbor over Sam Cooke's music, and the songs that he are putting out there, they're not making a statement. They're not meaning anything in the Black community, and us as an audience know he wrote and sang "A Change Gonna Come," which is a Black staple. Like, I can't tell you how much I heard that song as a kid, how much we hear that song in movies, films, shows, because it shows a presence of Blackness like no other songs, and strength, and, change coming, and it being such an iconic song. And you're just waiting as an audience for, like, when are we going to put that record on? When is that song going to come up? Or even, getting to know that, Jim Brown has just finished his first movie role, and him being kind of iffy about it and going, I don't know if this was a good idea. What about, basketball? But it just shows how ahead of his time he was, and knowing that, being a football player, being in sports is not a long-term career. And venturing off to do something else outside of sports was like unheard of then. If you played basketball or football, that's what you did. You weren't an actor / musician / like celebrities are now. So for him to take that, and for us to know that he was a little iffy about it, and to know what he became, not only an actor, but a director, a producer, and very dominant as far as a Black actor in many genres. So that was great to see here. And being able to see Sam Cooke just be so righteous and in his skin. We got a lot of Sam Cooke in this movie. We got a lot with the man, but we got a lot of Malcolm and Sam Cooke here. And Sam Cooke was just that dude, like, him being so ahead to know about, production and owning record companies and your masters and writing and royalties. These things were not popping back then. There were so many artists being took for, everything that they were worth, and not owning anything and being bamboozled. And for this man to be at the top of his game in the 60s, this was a bad man. But we also have to get into the darkness of this movie also, and the sadness that came with some of it for me. Now, though this story was absolutely great from pretty much start to finish, there is also so much eeriness around the film outside of Malcolm's situation, because we know how all these situations ended. Now, we get to hear Sam Cooke talk about, royalties and what he's doing on production and, on a massive scale. Things like, helping Bobby Womack, who sold his record to the Rolling Stones. And it's a little eerie because we know that not soon after Sam Cooke was murdered, Bobby Womack married his wife. We also know that, what happened after Malcolm left the Nation of Islam, and him being targeted all the way to him being assassinated, in front of his family and all of that terrible stuff. But we also have good things like, Jim Brown becoming a really big actor in the blaxploitation films and all the great things he did there, all the way up to Muhammad Ali becoming the GOAT, the greatest of all times. I'm the greatest. We also know about those things. So It was kind of hard here because I'm like, we know where this is going. And I just kept sitting there like, how far are they going to take this? I was sitting there hoping, because I had such a good time in the film. I didn't want to see these men be tragically murdered and shot like we've seen multiple times. And I'm so glad Regina didn't give that to us. This was not that. Now, we end the movie, you know, with the press outside and Muhammad Ali telling, you know, this is no longer my name. Call me Clash's X. This is my slave name. And him converting to the Nation of Islam, but not joining Malcolm X organization or, you know, promoting it. Now, later, in later years, he did, you know, after Malcolm's passing, he did join, but it was a little, you know, little touch and go there that we saw, you know, that empty seat, and we knew, you know, what was going to become of him and what became, you know, of the Nation of Islam of those times, and, you know, the backhanded things that were going on with that organization that clearly at that particular moment Muhammad Ali didn't see. And we also get to see, you know, Jim Brown retire and go on, you know, to acting and no longer playing football, and we know where that went. And we end, you know, with our eerie situations. I love how they split those kind of down. And we end with the two that we know what happened to them, you know, those tragic things. And we see, you know, that iconic, gave me a little Spike Lee, Regina gave me a little Spike Lee, girl, of Malcolm X running out of the burning house with his family with the shotgun. And we end with Sam Cooke finally, as Malcolm would put it, you know, singing a song for the people on, you know, national TV and crying. And we hear that change gonna come throughout the whole ending of the movie. And we see his teardrop along with Malcolm X. Like, girl, don't be trying to end the movie like that. Nobody trying to cry here, girl. Like, don't do this, Regina. Like, it was real touching and a nice way to end. I was really glad that we didn't end on death, because we've seen enough of that about these men. They are much more than their tragedy, especially Malcolm X. So much more than that tragic ending that they love to plaster on things, you know, to sell, and it's practically gory at this point. We didn't need to see that, and we didn't get that here, and I loved it. I'm hoping that maybe we can get, you know, other one night in Texas, one night in anywhere with, you know, different celebrities, you know, here of the past and them interacting in fictional things. I love this. I think we can make this happen with other characters and other legends. That would be so awesome. But I absolutely love this film. I would watch it again. I do recommend you watch it. If you have watched it, drop down and tell me what you thought about it. And also drop down and tell me what you think about my review. I hope you guys subscribe. Like, click it. And I hope you guys like this video. I see you guys next time. Bye.